We have found a fourth star map with coordinates to a digital tree. Get in. We don't have much time.
Just go without me. I don't have a role to play in any of this anyway.
You don't understand. We're more important than you could possibly imagine. Now get in, and let's go. We need you. Loading. A fourth star map.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a fourth star map. I'm Tyler. Today we're going to be talking about 2001: A Space Odyssey by the great Stanley Kubrick. Now, Stanley Kubrick is frequently cited as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. Many of his films are adaptations of novels and short stories. For example, he did The Shining as well. Another one of his great films that I'm going to be doing a video on in the future is Eyes Wide Shut, starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. But this video is going to be about his magnum opus, in my and many others, 2001: A Space Odyssey. So first, we're going to talk about aesthetic. Now, aesthetic is defined as the underlying principle that makes something appealing or beautiful. Kubrick's is cold but colorful. He makes obvious use of empty chairs as a visual tool in one of the scenes. Though open to wide interpretation, this seems to signify the vast emptiness and loneliness of the reality of space travel. With groundbreaking visual representations of outer space and abstract visual symbols in the final act, Kubrick creates an aesthetic which has inspired each space movie since its creation. So these are some photos of the main character, astronaut. As you can see, it's almost like each one of these scenes are like a painting. Like an ultra-futuristic painting that Kubrick created. As you can see, here's some more shots. So this is one of the scenes with all the empty chairs. The flight attendant comes in, and there's only one person sitting in this entire cabin. And you just get to see that although it's futuristic, although the technology is modern and futuristic and adapted to be, traveling through the universe, that although the technology is futuristic and space travel is, this romantic thing that we think about, it's also very lonely. And we're going to get into the anthropological idea of that right now. So, cultural anthropology is the study of the social lives of living communities. The community which we see on the spaceship in the film are essentially what's known in anthropology as a band. So a band is defined as a small, nomadic, and self-sufficient group of anywhere from 25 to 150 individuals. This crew being on the incredibly short side of that, so 25 at most, maybe. Usually it's an egalitarian social structure, which egalitarian means that they're all sharing resources. And when you have a small enough group like that, that's essentially what the structure is going to be like. Think of going to a small holiday party where there's around 25 people. It's not like certain drinks and food is set aside for a smaller group of people. It's like most everybody's sharing everything and socializing in that way. So this is compared and contrasted to the very beginning of the film, which shows a group of prehistoric primates. If you think about evolutionary theory, we would think of these primates as being our prehistoric primal ancestors, which is what's put forth in the film. And we see them living in a tribe, and they're hunting together, they're coming up against conflict with other tribes together. They're small tribal warfare, and Kubrick is definitely comparing and contrasting our prehistoric ancestors and what their life was like with what our lives as futuristic humans, with the technology to travel to different planets and things like that. And so he's comparing and contrasting prehistoric humanity with futuristic humanity, essentially. So this is a scene where one tribe of primates comes up against another tribe of primates because water as a resource is scarce in this vast, like, desert region. So, biological anthropology is the study of the biological aspects of the human species, past and present, along with those of our closest relatives, the non-human primates. The call systems of the primates in the beginning of the film are in stark contrast to the call systems of Hal. Now, Hal, you can see on the left side is the camera version of him, and on the right side, this is the large computer room mainframe that he is. He's a modern AI machine made by these futuristic humans. So we can also hear in this movie the score of the film contrasted with the beginning of the primal screams of these prehistoric primates. So I believe 2001: A Space Odyssey showcases the genesis of the construction of culture in the scene in which the primate discovers how to use the first tool after physical contact with the mysterious black monolith, which presents itself to the primate tribe. So, as you guys see here, this is an incredible cut scene, or not a cut scene, but a cut shot that Kubrick makes. We'll get into that in a second. So this is the scene where he's showing the construction of culture, though, because essentially how prehistorically our ancestors had to go up against all sorts of crazy animals, and compete with other tribes and bands of primates for resources. We were competing, if you think prehistorically, we're competing with woolly mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, like things like this that you think of when you think of prehistoric humanity. And so biologically, we're not as strong as a saber-toothed tiger, obviously. Like, we don't have the bodies that can overcome a lot of these opposing species that we had to compete with for resources. And so what made us able to get to this point where we are now, where we're the apex predator, or the apex species on planet Earth? Well, it's tools. And Kubrick is so interesting for this because he's trying to showcase the very first time that a human used a tool. It's like at some point back in those days, they're walking around looking for food, warring with other tribes, competing with other animals for resources, and then finally this primate picks up a bone, and he figures out he can use this bone to smash things, to war with other tribes with. He discovers the first tool. And so in this scene, he picks up the bone, he starts smashing the bones, and something clicks. It's like that light bulb above the head moment where evolution takes a giant leap. And this happens directly after this primate tribe confronts a mysterious black monolith, which seems to carry a wealth of knowledge and maybe is aiding in their evolution. And so right after this, the primate takes the bone with his tribe to the water hole, and this other band of primates hadn't discovered tools yet, so obviously they went out in the war against them. And this is the cutscene. So the primate is smashing the bones with the bone that he picked up, and he throws it up in the air, and as the bone is twirling up in the air, you get a great, brilliant cut from Kubrick from the bone to the spaceship, and it shows our evolution in, from this bone, the first tool we've been able to construct, tools that are far greater than anything that they could have imagined. And that's with the aid of this mysterious black monolith. So, theory of evolution by means of a supernatural force acting upon life on Earth. This signifies some sort of religious origin story in which the primates gain dominance over the other animals through the use of tools. The shot transition in particular, which signifies the entire evolution from the first bone tool to the spaceship, is legendarily noteworthy. It is because of this transition that the violent warring between primates looms over the social interactions between modern humans on the spaceship. Then, when a team of astronauts has discovered the monolith, another astronaut touches it. This may foreshadow the next acceleration in evolution for the human species. So this black monolith is found by this group of astronauts. So again, it's that compare and contrast with it's showing the steps of evolution and how this black monolith has some mysterious role to play in each major step of human evolution. So this may foreshadow the next acceleration in evolution for the human species. And so there's many theories about aliens or beings from other planets, non-human entities interfering in human evolution. It's something to look into. Kubrick showcases this in 2001 brilliantly. And it also wouldn't be the first time Kubrick dipped into this sort of thinking, which is essentially just free thought, artistic free thought. A lot of people think that he was hired to fake the moon landings. I personally don't believe that, but it's an interesting thing to look into. And then in the Eyes Wide Shut movie, which I think I have right here, starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, he basically shows us what Epstein's Island was like. What happens is Tom Cruise is a doctor. He goes on this mysterious, not adventure, but he just has this crazy night in New York City, and he gets involved with some things that he definitely shouldn't have been involved in, namely this strange secret society cult, and they're all masked, and he walks in without a mask, and you can just, we'll save this all for another video, but a lot of people think that, first of all, Kubrick died immediately after submitting the final cut for Eyes Wide Shut, so that's very interesting. A lot of people think what he was depicting is a secret society that pulls a lot of the strings in today's world, and I think people are starting to think that that's a definite possibility more and more nowadays. So anyway, this black monolith is super interesting because, what is it? You can see on the screen right now. It's interesting. I'm not sure if Kubrick is a brilliant artist, and sometimes this is what brilliant artists do, is that they predict the future unknowingly, and maybe these phones that we have, and maybe this technology that we have, are aiding us in our evolution. So as you can see, the striking resemblance of the smartphone and the iPhone to the mysterious black monolith in 2001. Eyes Wide Shut. This is also another interesting thing. They predicted the iPad in this movie, which begs the question, was it brilliant artistry and Kubrick just kind of having a vision? Was he a visionary of the future? Or, people think that he was hired by people to fake the moon landing. Was he involved with people who knew that this technology would be coming out in the future? Who knows, Responsible free thought is important, though. Alright, so there's this short scene in which a father speaks to his daughter on a video call. This speaks to the values of the humans in this film. A good discussion question for viewers of this film would be just that. What do these people value, and what are they willing to sacrifice in order to pursue it? So they're willing to sacrifice time in person, in reality with their families, to pursue exploration. The characters in the movie spend a great deal of time alone. Once the grandeur of space begins to fade, one is left thinking, Why are they acting this way? There seems to be an affirmation of scientific values and value of exploration, but any traditional values or rituals are completely absent. And maybe this is what is represented when, spoiler alert, serious spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie, come back, go watch it, and then come back and watch this video. But HAL, the artificial intelligence system, is destroyed at the end of the movie by this main astronaut character, and immediately after that, they find intelligent life on another planet. And this is so interesting because it's like maybe for that next step in human evolution to happen, maybe they needed to destroy this AI system, which didn't have, and it was revealed that HAL did not have didn't value human life, and we can't keep around technology that doesn't value human life because we're humans and we inherently value human life, or at least we should. So that's an interesting philosophical idea that's embedded in this movie. The monolith shows up to the prehistoric humans and then gives us this technology, and eventually the technology evolves to the point where we create artificial intelligence, and then maybe we have to discover that we need to destroy artificial intelligence for that next step to happen. So this is what is represented when HAL is destroyed and intelligent life is found on another planet. David is the astronaut. He's able to recognize that purely rational and scientific values are not valuable for the human spirit, and that to evolve, we must evolve beyond reliance on science for the nourishing of the human spirit. Alright guys, go watch this movie if you haven't seen it. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorites. Stanley Kubrick is a true brilliant artist, some would say a genius, and this has been a Fourth Star Map. I'm Tyler. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again.